Now, along the journey, there were different people, different historians that will randomly tell me, oh, nah, they don't usually use that word tribe because it has like colonial derogation to it. And I'm like, okay, well, me and my guys, that's not what we mean when we say tribe, but okay, to each his own. So anytime I came across someone that said they had an issue with that word, it wasn't really a problem. But let's go back. Let's try and unpack this. Let's try and unpack why some people would regard it as a problem or not. Yes, 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 yes. You're now rocking with the best. This is the Omo podcast. Um, Shout out to you for tuning in. Basically, my name is Retji from Jos, J-Town, Plateau States, Niger boy, repping. I'm an artist, filmmaker, photographer, musician, all that. And this is an outlet or a platform for me to dive deeper into things that I'm passionate about, things that I'm working on. I can share a bit of myself and be myself, basically. This is a safe space, as you can tell by the ambiance. This is a safe space. This is my studio. So welcome to the Omo podcast. This is a podcast that is basically anything that makes you say Omo. Now, what we go talk about? Basically anything that makes you say Omo. You get that kind of thing. So, basically, in this podcast today, the topic of today, and I'm happy that this is the first podcast and this is what I get to talk about today. But the topic is why I changed the name of my feature-length documentary, my first feature-length documentary, from Tribe to Nyam. Okay? From Tribe to Nyam. So, Tribe, what is this documentary about? This documentary is about self-discovery. It's about my journey to rediscovering the cultures of my ethnic group, Mupun. The Mupun people that are located in Plateau States in Nigeria, West Africa, and it's an ethnic group, And so I go on this journey talking to elders and talking to historians about the cultures of the Mupun people. And so when I first started this documentary, first of all, I didn't even realize that I was making a documentary because I was just recording footage, But then when I started figuring out the story and what it was doing to my identity, I was like, you know what? We're going to make a documentary. So because, in English language, what we call our ethnic groups is tribe. And if you go back to the Bible with the tribe of Judah and the different tribes, that word is something that we've been using. So it felt natural for me to call this documentary Tribe because I was also looking at it as an exploration of not just the Mupun people, but also the different ethnic groups around Africa. Because, Africa has like over 3,000 ethnic groups. Nigeria has like over 300, thereabout. Plateau State has about like 60 to 70. So there's different cultures, and a lot of these cultures are very unique. So basically, that's what led me to wanting to make this documentary and make this docu-series as something that I can explore cultures and, get this conversation going. So I called it Tribe, right? Now, along the journey, there were different people, different historians that will randomly tell me, oh, nah, they don't usually use that word tribe because it has like colonial derogation to it. And I'm like, okay, well, me and my guys, that's not what we mean when we say tribe, but okay, to each his own. So anytime I came across someone that said they had an issue with that word, it wasn't really a problem. But let's go back. Let's try and unpack this. Let's try and unpack why some people will regard it as a problem or not. If you think about the word tribe, and you think about the context in which this documentary is in, which is African history and Black people's history and Nigerian history. If you think about the words and the language that we used during those times, during our colonial times, during our oppression, the language that was used to describe us was often used to justify our oppression and our suffering. And so the word tribe was usually used like when they say something is a tribalistic way, or it's a traditional. It's usually referred to an ancient or backwards or uncivilized people or culture or way of living. And so the word tribe was used in that way. And so that's the context of our history. So a lot of times we were painted as this uncivilized people in villages, that need help and need a new way of living. So that picture that was painted of us was used to justify our oppression. And it was a picture that said that we were uncivilized and we were backward, and we were always fighting each other. And a lot of times, the calling of African people as tribes and was used to justify why we were fighting each other, or the internal conflicts that we had amongst ethnic groups in the continent of Africa. So that word has that spirit attached to it, and basically, like, it's not something that I want to uphold. It's not something that I feel excites. I feel like it incites more than excites. And let me break that down. Like, when you hear tribe, a lot of times I've heard someone say this. Someone said this to me, where they said when they heard tribe, all they thought about was villages, and they thought about some backwards people that they haven't encountered civilization, and they're just in this isolated village where they don't have any technology and they're not smart. That perception and that prejudice that comes with that word is something that I've been very cautious of, and has been making me reflect a lot, as something that I'm not sure speaks to the reality of what this documentary is about, and what this documentary is trying to say, or the message within this documentary, and the conversations that I want this documentary to spark. So that word tribe, how did it even develop? Like, if you think about language and the importance of words, and how the tongue is powerful. Like, waiting you call something, now waiting that thing fit be. You understand? Like, if I call you great, you will most likely be great. That's why affirmations is so important, and that's why people like to speak truth to power. So basically, when the Westerners came, them Lugat and co, when they came to come and dominate and they wanted to rule us, they used that word, and they often used language that justified them ruling over us, and erasing our culture and erasing our identity, and who we are, who we were, and who we are, basically. So context is key. Context is key when you're talking about different cultures, and you're talking about different themes and history. If you think about how Nigeria was built, we were given a name that wasn't a name that we chose for ourselves. We even didn't fight for our independence, actually, if you think about it. People like Ghana, they were previously called the Gold Coast, and they decided they wanted to give themselves a name that speaks to their culture and speaks to what they want to uphold and what they want to be represented by, the identity that made them feel like who they are, So if you think about, like, the Upper Volta, which is what we now know as Burkina Faso, they changed their name because they wanted to be maybe safe. Now wetin we guys do? We guys decolonize. We have to just go back to the drawing board as Nigerians and properly decide, okay, what do we actually believe? Who are we? We have to go back. Who were we before these people came? And then let's build a structure around that. Let's build a nation. In fact, maybe we need to change that name, Nigeria. We need to, even if it's Super Eagles, we are now the Super Eagles in West Africa. I don't know. We need to change the name Nigeria. And I feel like, in fact, even Super Eagles, if we change it to Super Eagles, that would make us look at ourselves in a different way. You understand? Because that's more of an uplifting name to call ourselves. That's something that someone would have pride in, than a name that we didn't intentionally choose for ourselves. So maybe Super Eagles. This is my proposition. Let's change. Let us change Nigeria to Super Eagles. If you think that's the closest we have, because you can't call it Hausa, you can't call it the Yoruba Nation, you can't call it, and we are not going to separate. It's not, we can't separate. We have to be strong. We have to be stronger together as a nation. So when we think about one Nigeria, one Super Eagles. We are the Super Eagles, and that's why it's not we're not the Super Eagle. We are the Super Eagles. Because there's so many different eagles. You understand? There's so many different cultures, and that's what makes us great. If you think about America, that's one reason America is such a thriving place, because of its diversity and the way everyone from different diverse backgrounds are living in the same place in peace. But at least the progression is showing. People are working together, regardless of their ethnic groups or their race, or, well, in some cases their race, but history, it's not all the time that yeah. So yeah, that's like what I feel like Nigeria should do. Make we just change Jam from Niger, maybe the Super Eagles of Niger, since maybe so that we will not get rid of the whole Nigeria, but Niger, because now also we give ourselves Niger, you understand? So either Super Eagles or Niger, maybe we change the country to Niger, because then that would give us more of an intentional identity, that we can have control of, that we can empower and feel like it's a nation, So yeah, this is the Omo podcast. These are the things that make me just say Omo sometimes. I'm just like, Omo, what if we just, how can we be better? Omo. Wala. You understand? It's the Omo podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody don't do podcast because everybody want to take control of their narrative. Omo, talk your own. Maybe person no can talk, say you talk another thing. So now waiting lead me to start this podcast. You get? Last, I'm a creative, man. I'm a vessel. So I'll just use this as another medium of channeling my spirit. The Omo podcast, ladies and gentlemen. So let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you agree or disagree with me. This is a conversation that's ongoing. But last, I've changed the name of my documentary. If you wanted to have a documentary called Tribe, go and make it. But that's not what we're doing here. This is something for our culture, and we are taking control of our narrative with this. And I advise everyone to do the same. So stay curious, stay open to learning about what you don't know, because that's gonna make the world a better place. So make sure you follow me on Instagram at Retji, Retji. I've noticed like a lot of people come up to me and they're like, oh wait, so your real name is Retji? I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh, I thought that was just like your Instagram name or like your stage name. I'm like, no, that's my real name, Retji. Retji is a Mupun name. Just like you have Retji and you have Rodji and you have Warji and you have Planji and you have Zoomji. You can keep going if you think about it. But Retji is my name, it's my real name, original thing. You got me. You know, so it means something good has come. Mupun G is come. And Ret is something good. So something good has come, and I hope that's what the Oma podcast is. It's something good that you can just like allow to play in the background as you listen to conversations around culture and around my passions of being a photographer and a filmmaker and a musician. I can give you guys the tea, man. People don't they do me shiggy. I will tell you. Man, I don't lie you. Oh, the game's so cold, man. But the game is the game. The game is the game, regardless of the lane. It's still the same thing. You get me? Yeah, so that's what we're gonna be talking about on this podcast. In my safe space, that I can be myself. I will switch it to a Niger way. I can talk to you like I'm talking to my guys in the Zanga. Kagani. You get me? Or I can just switch it up. Like I can just talk to my homies in Baltimore, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. This is the Oma podcast, a safe space for anything that will make you say Oma. You get me? Oma. All right. Peace out. I hope I got the message across. If I didn't, I have to record another episode. But Nyam is the name of my documentary from now on. Moving forward. If you hear me say tribe, I'll give you $5. Deal? Nice one. I know some guys are going to be trying to. You don't catch me. Try am. I don't go talk am. Me, I know they talk am. You guys can say it too. Nothing against you, but me, I know they talk am. Because there's power in words, man. And I'm about to do that. Yeah. But I also feel like this conversation, it cuts across just the word try. Like, you think about other words. Like, imagine if you were talking to someone and you were just like, oh, I was just talking to a Negro the other day. You'd be like, huh? Hold up. What? It's giving Ku Klux Klan, like, relax. Negro, whoa. Or imagine if they were just like, oh, I was just talking to a colored person the other day. You'd be like, wait, whoa. So words have history behind them, and the context is very important. And so that's why I was led to do what I did with changing the name of my documentary. You get me? So hopefully you can support. Last night God did give us power. Akwe grace, akwe favor. Kongani. Shout out to the West African Film Festival. Shout out to Out of Africa Film Festival in Kenya. Shout out to the Spotlight Documentary Award. I'm so grateful for the awards I'm getting and the recognition and the selections and the screenings. And I hope we can continue to take our culture to the world and tell these people that we have been here since ancient civilizations. You get me? We've been here. And they try to underplay and undermine how great we are. But let me tell you, this time we are not asking for their permission. We're not asking for anybody's permission to do what we're going to do and to flourish the way we're going to flourish. This year, and moving forward, not just this year, moving forward, we're not going to ask for anybody's permission to flourish or to showcase. Kungani, you understand? We're just going to do it, man. The same way Afrobeats just came like a wave. Guys were coming to Yankee and knocking and banging on the door. Say, listen to Afrobeats. Listen, hey. And they're doing all shaky. Now we know they ask for anything, you must vibe, you must groove to the groove. You get me? Because this culture is here to stay forever. Don't even think twice about that. It's a everlasting wave. We're just catching the surface. Kongani. Yeah. So I'm excited. I'm excited for this. That's why I have to start my podcast so that I can take control of my narrative and take control of the role that I play within the culture. Because there's so many things that me too I dey do. I know they too loud down, but when I know say this guy I dey try. Alright, let me not get too cocky, but I'm just saying this year there's no dimming of the lights. We ain't doing that around here. Let me tell you, don't dim your lights. Don't dim your lights. Don't make them try tell you say you know sabi. You sabi. I know say me and sabi sha. But too sabi. Thank God. Thank God for talents. Thank God for the crews. Thank God for perspective. Because last, it's all in the mind. You get me? This is the Omo podcast. And I'm excited for what the future holds. Look forward to having guests on the show too. So if you want me to talk about something, there's something that you feel like you want to know what I think about this, drop it in the comments. What should I talk about? What topics do you want me to share my thoughts and my philosophies and ideologies on? Let me know, if you're interested in what this movement is doing. You know what I'm saying? Because the movement is still going to move. Because we move. You know what I'm saying? So, this is the Omo podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I just hope that, y'all stay tuned, subscribe, turn on your notifications so when I post videos, I'm about to be recording and just yamming. I will just be yamming. If una want catch this cruise, catch them. I'll have guests. Some of my guys are going to come through. We're going to chop it up and have conversations about the culture. There's so many conversations that I have with my guys that I'm like, man, this would have been a mad podcast. We're always just like, this would have been a mad podcast. Oh yeah, I've started podcast. Come may we yarn. Come may we yarn, guys. Because a lot of conversations that I have with my friends, like I feel like they can help people out there and other people just like navigate life and just how we understand our society and all that, So, this has been a nice one. I'm excited to see how this grows. Okay, all right. You dey feel am? Una dey feel am? You get me?